Bertemu kembali. Pameran Maya City Expo Malaysia 2021 akan berlangsung pada 8 November hingga 8 Disember ini. Antara isu yang akan dibincangkan dalam expo ini adalah kadar urbanisasi Malaysia antara yang tertinggi di Asia pada 77.2%. Kadar urbanisasi di Malaysia dijangka mencecah 88% pada 2050. Editor Astro AWANI, Rizal Zulkapli membincangkan bersama Presiden Malaysian Institute of Planners, Datin Noraida Saludin dan Pengarah City Expo Malaysia 2021, Imran Clyde tentang cabaran berdepan bandar di serata dunia dan impak peningkatan kadar urbanisasi kepada alam sekitar dan sosial. Kita saksikan membual berkenaan menjelang City Expo Malaysia.
Thank you, Datin, and also Imran Clyde for joining us. Datin Noraida, share with us what are some of the main challenges facing our cities today, and what role does town planning play in keeping or helping us to meet these challenges? Datin?
Today, the United Nations said that 55% of the global population live in cities today, and by 2050 is expected to be 68%. In Malaysia today, or rather 2020, we are already 77%. And in 2030, we are expected to be 80%. And the crux of the problem here is sort of like originates from what is called rapid urbanization. So because of rapid urbanization, I think I would just like to outline that there are 5 biggest challenges that we face today in cities, and the first one being environmental threats. It resulted from global warming, climate change, and even human activities. Severe weather conditions. It's already unpredicted. We used to know when there would be monsoon back in the old days, right? December, January. Now it's erratic. So we predicting that is quite a challenge already. And because of rapid urbanization, we strain in terms of our resources. Urban sprawl, where development goes beyond the city limits, into encroaching into forested areas, not just the forest reserve, but also areas that are agriculture, that are with secondary forests, and because of that, it goes into, for example, encroach into the catchment area, the water catchment areas. It meets or strain the resources. And in cities also, we are fighting for spaces, for basic amenities, especially, for example, open spaces. Parks and open spaces, because they need to build more and build more and build more for cater for the housing needs of the population. And third is as cities become modernized, increase in growth, in development, inequality, the gap becomes larger.
Imran, let's zoom in and look at the public engagement. Let's talk about stakeholder engagement, why it's becoming more important component of cities design and management, and where are we right now with stakeholder engagement. We often hear about people, community, and there's dwellers in that particular area not very happy with the zoning, with the building of new development in their particular areas. So tell us about stakeholder engagement, and how are we doing that in Malaysia, or is it really addressing the core issues in Malaysia?
The stakeholder engagement is becoming extremely vital. Now, if you look in Western countries, for example, or even in Singapore, the level of engagement is getting deeper and broader. So feedback is very important because we all live in cities. So definitely we do have some voice that we need to share with local government to be able to better plan and develop our cities. And the level of stakeholder engagement is quite interesting. It's changing right now in the sense that, with the advent of social media, people are becoming more vocal. They're sharing their opinions online. So, and we've seen this recently, where it becomes a feedback mechanism as well for city managers and city makers to be able to provide a sense of response as well. So that's changing. So that's becoming much better. In terms of formal engagement, I would love to see a lot more of that, which is part of the reason why we together with MIP we set up City Expo Malaysia, because it's an opportunity or a platform for multiple stakeholders to get together and share their opinions, their ideas of what cities will look like in the future, and that's why it's very important moving forward.
But Datin, we look at the speed of change for our cities. It's becoming faster and faster, and town planning is a long-term process. So how do town planners address to the changing behavior of the city dwellers, the population, and how do you strike the balance between the urban dwellers and city population moving really fast and also the long-term aspect of town planning?
Town planning in Malaysia, we are quite systematic in terms of the town planning process. We are a three-tier government, and we have also kind of a three-tier policy cascading from the national policy, going down direct to the local at the local level, at local government, which is the local authorities. And I think at the moment we have about 150 something local authorities governing from big cities like Kuala Lumpur to the smaller areas, as far as, for example, Greek and all that. In terms of the planning documents, we have at the national level the spatial policy that govern how the development of the country. And including, when I say development, it's not just development, but also conservation.
Okay.
Yeah, but those policies needs to be trickled down at the local level. And at the local level, every city have what is called a local plan. And in the local plan, the process, even at the state level, in between national policy and the local plan, there's the structure plan, which is prepared for the whole state. It's also policy direction for the state. And at the local plan, there's already a process of getting public to participate. This is defined in the Town and Country Planning Act, that it's mandatory or it's required to get involvement of the public. And beyond that also, the local authorities today, and in the context of urban planning or town planning today, under the context of being inclusive and participatory, the process also have involved a lot of engagement with the public. There are a lot of rooms now. There's like during even in preparing plan, it's already methods like survey, interview, doing workshop. There's room for public to participate.
So the long-term plan would be the umbrella plan, and as you cascade down to the public level, it reacts to how public people and dwellers in that particular area are living their life. Do you think they are sensitive to what's happening with people's behavior, how they live their life at the very low, the lowest level?
As a process, in developing plans for the city, for example, you really have to understand the dynamics of for example, the economy.
Okay.
City, right? Whether in the past is, for example, Kuala Lumpur, it's really focused on manufacturing, but now it's moving on to the at one point of time the knowledge economy, and now it's like the digital economy, and in terms, we also need to understand the dynamics of the social economy. The population and the profile. For example, now we know that some of our cities, for example, Georgetown, are going into aging society, projected to be, right? So town planning has to be very sensitive to that, and assist and plan to prepare for aging society, for example. What are the needs of the aging society, right? And perhaps in younger cities, for example, Tanjung Malim at one point is youth city. So because there's a lot of universities, so the planning needs to understand that and integrate that into the whole long term. And now in urban planning, the translating sustainable development SDG is very core now. So everyone must now try to do plans where the action plans where they can achieve the SDG goals by 2030.
Imran, share with us the inspiration behind City Expo Malaysia and this collaboration that you have with MIP.
I would love to. So City Expo Malaysia provides an opportunity, because it's on a virtual platform, for all Malaysians, companies, local government to come together, the different multiple stakeholders within the city management, city planning environment to come together and have an open discussion, share, learn about what's happening in our cities, what these urbanism themes are all about. Datin Noraida mentioned, for example, like young cities, aging cities. What do these themes mean? How do they impact you as a citizen? And what can you do to contribute back to that idea so that there is a sense of empowerment and a feeling of contribution that you have? For example, if you're doing low carbon cities, for example, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. How can I as an individual contribute back to that idea? Otherwise, it will just seem as a concept and you are not having any sense of involvement in it. So it's important that people come together and learn about these things, where the cities are going, what technologies are coming in and changing and having an impact on where the direction of cities are going, and learn from each other. Because, as I mentioned, it's so many stakeholders are involved. Mm-hmm. The collaboration with MIP, because MIP is a leader as far as city planning is concerned. So it was important that we got the town planning profession involved, because they are involved not only as consultants, but they are involved in local authorities as well, in development companies. So it was important to build, to get that community, the MIP community, to drive this.
Mm-hmm. Datin, what do you hope to achieve during City Expo Malaysia? Are we looking at future urban concepts or urbanism concepts? What do you hope to achieve during City Expo Malaysia?
Yeah, cities is about everybody. So we hope to, besides educating the professionals and about new technologies, we are hoping also that the City Expo Malaysia become a platform where we can engage the whole everybody that the general public too, because like you, myself, as laymen, we have a say in this, how our cities are built or how our cities grow. So understanding our role in cities is very important. So we could help to ensure that we achieve the aspiration for our cities to be livable, to be sustainable, and even to be resilient in context of now that we are facing a lot of climate change issues. How do we make our cities so that City Expo Malaysia provides that platform for conversation, and we are hoping that it's not just for the technical people or the professional or the developers or the city managers, but also for the general public.
Imran, share with us, this expo will be done online, right? So how do you plan to capture that experience of a very physical structure-based expo that people are so used to something that's online, but it involves the general public, these different stakeholders? How do you plan to capture all that during or in an online expo?
Sure. First things first, we actually invested in a platform that closely resembles or gives you the experience of being in a physical exhibition. So for example, after you register and you log in, there's an external lobby, which looks like as if you were at a convention center, and then you go into an internal lobby where you can move into the auditorium, exhibition hall, or networking lounge. And so the user experience was very important for us to be able to recreate that. And then once you go in, you can actually choose whichever options that you want. You can you can listen to multiple talks at the same time. You can have many conversations. There's chat rooms, you can have video chat, or you can have text chats. There's a lot of flexibility that we've built into it. So we're very excited to show this system and the various ways in which people can engage, because we have surveys, we have polls. So there's many ways. It will be very interesting and very exciting.